Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. Let me know, let me know, let me know. All right, good stuff, good stuff. Excellent. Let me run down and fill up my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, let me, okay, all right. Janik L'Italian is in the house. Love this lemon sparkling water. Keeps my voice nice and lubricated, I guess, for the most part. We got 44 of you in here. Got 44 of you in here watching. So what's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 32nd edition of the Hard R podcast. Another potential party foul there. As you guys know, yesterday, we discussed, or I discussed, Karmelo Anthony stabbing Austin Metcalf to death and the implications and et cetera. And it was a pretty good discussion. It was a pretty good discussion on, at least on my part. I had HOTEP Jesus on to discuss as well. And, HOTEP did exactly what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to offer his opinion on this situation, and you guys can go back and watch it. But I think the gist of it, and I don't think, and a lot of you probably aren't big fans of HOTEP Jesus. I get it. I understand. He's certainly not for everybody. And I've been good friends with Brian for quite a while, actually. He has spoken at 2 of my 3 CMEs. Molten Mage Gaming says, did you see the Chipotle story 2 in Discord? Yes, I'm actually going to talk about that. I'm actually going to talk about that first, and then we will get into the meat and potatoes. But the reason why I decided to do this topic again is because I had a lot of people in the chat, namely, I guess HOTEPs, who I guess disagreed with my position. I'm not really sure what you guys disagreed with. Obviously, it was a very explosive topic, and there we go. It was a very explosive topic, but I got to a point to where it became clear that a lot of people in the chat were making excuses. They're making excuses for Mr. Anthony. And so I'm going to go over. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at this. And of course, we're going to listen to Jason Whitlock. We're going to listen to Jason Whitlock. This is actually from earlier today, but we're going to listen to Whitlock. Obviously, I'm not going to play it. I mean, I'll play it. You know, you guys will be able to hear the sound, but I'm not going to show the video, obviously, because of copyright, et cetera, et cetera. But let's go ahead and. So, Want More says, damn it, missed a really good discussion. Thunder Juice says, now there's reports he was maybe acting in self-defense and that he surrendered to police and confessed straight away. Hotep was right, but be right, not first. So Thunder Juice would have us believe that he was acting in self-defense. The only reasonable acting in self-defense claim that you could make is if Mr. Metcalf pulled out a knife on Mr. Anthony, right? If Austin Metcalf pulled a knife on Karmelo Anthony and got stabbed to death, well, that right there would constitute a self-defense. But Austin Metcalf did not have a weapon. And again, Thunder Juice says, now there's reports that he was maybe acting in self-defense. Yeah, reports that he was maybe acting in self-defense. Fucking wrong. Fucking wrong, Thunder Juice. You are absolutely fucking wrong. Dude, honestly, the self-defense, that is the most asinine. That's the most asinine defense I can ever hear. Acting in self-defense. The only legit self-defense that you could argue here is if Austin Metcalf pulled a knife or a weapon on Karmelo Anthony. He didn't do that. The Iron Patriot says all he did was move his bag. Exactly. Even if, let's just say for the sake of argument, Austin Metcalf put hands on Karmelo Anthony. Right? Still not a reason to stab him to death. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument, that Austin Metcalf assaulted Karmelo Anthony, right? Maybe put his hands on him, punched him, shoved him, whatever the case may be. And Karmelo Anthony comes back and beats the shit out of him. That would be self-defense, right? That would be self-defense. But as Wesley Boyd says here on the YouTube side, says self-defense is supposed to be measured. And so there are a lot of, let's just keep it real. It's a lot of niggas out there arguing self-defense. And just like Wesley Boyd said, self-defense should be measured, okay? That's not a defense, that's an excuse. Well, the reason he stabbed him to death is because he was acting in self-defense. I've heard other ridiculous comments. Let's continue. I actually saw something that he was, being bullied, which is bullshit. I don't give a damn. Let's see. This commenter said, Hotep, focus on the feeling of the opinion. I focus on being real. Don't insult the viewer by appealing to feelings. Mr. Pug Bougie says, I swear you and Jason Whitlock said the exact same things. Did you watch each other's show? I actually watched his show today before I came on. And you're absolutely right. Now here is, this is the coup de grace right here. Says, very sad, but to be fair, I heard the N-word was used. Karmelo was bullied and assaulted by this mob. He feared for his life. Self-defense. That's a lie. That is an absolute lie. He wasn't bullied and assaulted by the mob. Okay? Because if he were bullied and assaulted by the mob, there would have been other accounts that he was bullied and assaulted by the mob. They're trying to make excuses. They're trying to make excuses for this nigga's actions. Trying to make excuses. No, he was not bullied. No, he was not assaulted. Let's look at some of the responses. I think I replied as well. T-Law88 says, fair. Here's another comment. He said he was so afraid he went looking for him. Exactly. Let's, wild that you are excusing any of this because of a word. Gross, really gross. Your part of the problem. We got wrong, not true. Imagine thinking one word is worth more than a life. Even if the victim said a slur, that doesn't justify bringing a knife to a track meet and using it. Totally agree. And of course, my response was, that's bullshit and you know it. There was no self-defense. The dude acted emotionally and now he's going to prison for life. Eggshell says, if it was the other way around, it would be considered self-defense or he would have gotten a slap on the wrist. Why do you even want to fight someone because they're in the wrong seat? They both were wrong and both paid the price. Nope. Nope. See, now people are now people are trying to hedge. Right? Now people are trying to hedge. Well, they were both wrong and they both paid the price. No. Austin Metcalf was not wrong in this situation. He was not wrong in this situation. Actually, you know what? Let me back it up. Even if Austin Metcalf were wrong in this situation, that does not justify being stabbed to death. I still can't believe, like, honestly, here in 2025, guys, I still cannot believe that there are actually people out here calling this self-defense. They're saying that he was bullied and that he was not bullied, nor was he assaulted. This was a nigga acting like a nigga. Why So Serious says hate crime. I don't know. I'm not not assigning those kinds of labels. A crime is a crime is a crime. Okay? Whatever happened, Karmelo Anthony's response was not commiserate with the cause. Okay? Let's just say for the sake of argument. And again, guys, we don't know because we weren't there, but let's just say for the sake of argument that Austin Metcalf put his hands on Karmelo Anthony. Let's say he pushed him, he shoved him, maybe he was swinging on him a little bit. Well, the commiserate response would be to fight back. Okay? But by all accounts, Austin Metcalf grabbed Karmelo Anthony's bag, and that is when Karmelo Anthony, pardon me, gotta adjust the boys here. That is when Karmelo Anthony responded by taking out a knife and stabbing Austin Metcalf in the chest. Yeah, I got a foot-long dong here, guys. It gets a little tied up every now and again. Okay? Guys, this is wrong. I don't care what you say. And you know, listen, man, Hotep Jesus made a lot of really good points. You know, he made a lot of pretty good points. But I think what Hotep was really trying to do is, I think his overall argument was, we shouldn't be talking about this. We shouldn't be talking about this because we don't have all the facts, blah, 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 blah. And to a degree, I agree with him. But guess what? Just because Hotep Jesus says we shouldn't talk about it doesn't mean that we don't talk about it. He asked, well, why should we have an opinion on this? Listen, I'm a grown man. I can have an opinion on whatever I want to have an opinion on. If I have an opinion on Pepsi versus Coke, then I can have an opinion on it. Does it really matter in the long run? No. Right? But it is almost as though, and I'm not saying that this is what Hotep Jesus was doing, but the Hoteps in the chat, it was almost as though they were shaming us for having the discussion in the first place. Well, you shouldn't be talking about this until you get all of the facts straight, right? You don't want to be first, you want to be right. You don't want to be first, you want to be right. Right? And so you shouldn't comment on this and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Hotep commented on it. Other Hoteps were commenting on it. So why can't I? No, I think what the Hoteps out there want to put out to the world is that nobody can have an opinion on this unless you think Karmelo Anthony acted in self-defense. And to that I say, that's fucking bullshit. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard or seen in my life. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard or seen in my life. Mason with the $5 super chat. God damn it. There we go. Mason with the $5 super chat says, this discourse is why good black men, which is most of us, have to answer for this idiocy. Absolutely. Shane Ingle with the $5 super chat says, we will never be able to heal as a society for as long as we make excuses for this type of behavior despite one's skin color. R.I.P. Austin. Yeah, I mean, this is, again, guys, this is what tells you that black people in this country are more racist than white people. I've said it, guys. I've said this now for months, almost years. Black people are more racist than white people, guys. Like, anytime anything like this happens, you can, and it's funny, people say, well, you people want to make this about race. No, people don't want to make this about race. This is about race, okay? A black kid stabbed a white kid to death. Guess what? Whether you like it, want it or not, it is about race. It is about race. It is about race, and it is about culture. Because I promise you this, had the roles been reversed, if Austin Metcalf were sitting in the wrong place and Karmelo Anthony said move, Austin said make me, and Karmelo Anthony grabs his bag and puts it over there, I can promise you, I am 1,000% sure Austin Metcalf would not have stabbed him. Austin Metcalf would not have stabbed him. No, the reason why Karmelo Anthony stabbed Austin Metcalf to death is because he was brainwashed by nigga culture. And that's what I call it, guys. That's what this is. This is nigga culture. Jay-Z versus Nas, Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. It's nigga culture. Who gives a fuck? Who honestly gives a fuck what Drake said about Kendrick Lamar? Who gives a shit about what Kendrick Lamar says about? Who gives a fuck? This is the problem with the so-called black community. We give so much oxygen to shit that not only doesn't matter, but that damages the community. It's like all they want to do is play what they used to call the dirty dozens, people talking shit back and forth and this and that. This is absolute insanity. And so what I'm going to do now is before we get to more of this stuff, I'm going to talk about another story that involves another young black man doing nigga shit. Mason with the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. He says, you can count on the communica to defend this shit. Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, if you are defending Karmelo Anthony's actions, this is a you problem. This is a you problem. This is incredible that anyone at all is actually justifying this behavior by calling it self-defense and making shit up. People are literally making shit up. He was bullied. No, he wasn't. He was assaulted. No, he was not. No, he was not. Ultimate Influencer Plug says, get stabbed over a seat. Exactly. Like what? Like what? Like what the fuck? Connor Brown says, Hotep is a clown. Listen, guys, listen. I am respectfully asking you to be respectful of Hotep Jesus. Okay? Brian Sharpe, aka Hotep Jesus, he's a good friend of mine, and we've been friends for years. Okay? We don't agree on everything. There are things that we don't fundamentally agree on. Okay? But he respects me, and I respect him. You can have a respectful discourse with a friend of yours. You can have a respectful disagreement without being disrespectful. Him and I had a respectful discourse about it. I don't feel any differently about him today than I did yesterday. I love Hotep Jesus. I love his brand. I love his passion. I love his intelligence. I love the guy. He's one of my good friends. He's one of my good friends. So listen, man, I know a lot of you guys don't like Hotep Jesus, and that's fine. That's okay. You can dislike him. You can, you can disagree with him. I'm asking you to just show him a little, just show some respect. You can disagree, but I'm asking you guys this because he's my friend. That's it. King Live says he called us small-brained. Yeah, he did. But guys, listen, do I agree with Hotep Jesus when he calls my audience small-brained? No, I don't. No, I do not. But guys, we're not going to stoop to that level, okay? We're not going to call Hotep Jesus a clown. We're not going to say that he's small-brained. We're not going to do any of that stuff. Okay? We are going to have a respectful
on employees of a local.
We are going to have a respectful discourse, and if you disagree, it is what it is. You disagree. I've got oh wait a minute, I thought I had somebody pulling up. By the way, guys, the pull-up studios are open. If anybody has a disagreement, if anybody wants to discuss, if anybody wants to discuss this, guys, hashtag pull out. Hashtag pull out. Oh my God, I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Hashtag pull up. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, definitely pull out. Definitely pull out. You should be using a condom anyway, but you got to pull up. But what I want to do first, is I want to talk about another story that happened in the wake of the Austin Metcalf, Karmelo Anthony tragedy. And I'm going to react to this video. Chipotle Wi-Fi denial leads to a gun threat. Wow. Leads to a gun threat. Let's take a look and listen.
A restaurant who refused to give him the Wi-Fi tonight. A man pulled a gun on employees of a local restaurant who refused to give him the Wi-Fi password. That man is now facing several charges against him.
Fox 5's Denise Dillon is live in Cobb County tonight. Denise, police caught up with him rather quickly.
Yeah, he didn't get very far. Police say the employees at this restaurant who had the gun in their faces called 911. Officers raced over here, and when they got here, they found the man just across the street at this hotel.
Unbelievable, man.
The suspect was denied access to the Wi-Fi. He took it to extreme levels.
Cobb County police say this man.
Incredible. And isn't it funny? They all kind of look the same, don't they? They all kind of look the same. Can you believe this nigga? Can you believe that this nigga pulled a gun on an employee because he was denied the Wi-Fi password? Guys, this is what I'm talking about. This is the nigga shit I'm talking about. I would love to see HOTEPS defend this behavior. I would love to see anybody. I would love to see any nigga try to come up here and defend this behavior. And yeah, of course, of course, it's in Atlanta, right? The worst fucking city in the, dude, Atlanta's the worst city on the planet. It is the worst city, dude. I hate Atlanta. I hate the people that are there. I hate everything about it. Maybe some of it is unfounded. Don't give a fuck. Every time I go to Atlanta, I'm always having to deal with bullshit. Always having to deal with bullshit. Incredible. Let's continue.
Zakur Garrett was so angry he couldn't get access to the Wi-Fi, he took it out.
And here's another thing. His name is Zakur. So we're giving our kids nigga names. Another nigga name. Come on, man.
And the employees working the drive-thru at this Chipotle on South Cobb Drive.
The suspect decided to escalate the situation and brandish a firearm and began pointing it at employees.
When officers showed up, they found Garrett across the street at this hotel. Investigators say he had tossed the gun.
Hold up. Hold the fucking phone.
Garrett across the street at this hotel.
At employees.
When officers showed up, they found Garrett across the street at this hotel. Investigators say he had tossed the gun in a trash can.
This firearm actually came back stolen.
This dumb nigga tossed the gun in a trash can. As if, oh, no, I don't have the gun. Oh, my God.
Out of Atlanta. This guy probably knew that the police were on their way and likely just discarded of it because he knew he wasn't supposed to have it.
Garrett was taken into custody, but his anger still simmered. Police say while officers were trying to adjust his handcuffs, he punched one of them.
The suspects.
There we go. See? There you go. Let's listen to that one more again. Let's listen to that one more again. And I'm going to tell you what. Somebody, dude, there might be. I would actually like to find that police video. I'd like to find that police video. Of course he punched a cop. He's a nigga.
Say while officers were trying to adjust his handcuffs, he punched one of them.
The suspect.
This dude punched a cop. This dude punched a police officer. Again, another overreaction by an emotional nigga. Give me the Wi-Fi password. No. Points a gun in his face. What the fuck are we doing?
Swung at the officer, striking him, causing minor injuries.
And while in the back seat of the patrol car, he kicked out a camera. And
There you go.
again, police say it all started with him not being able to connect to the Wi-Fi.
We living in tough.
Unbelievable. Insanity. Insanity. Unbelievable. Shane Ingle with the $20 super chat says black version of Beavis and Butthead. The black version of Beavis and Butthead. Ay. That's actually pretty good. Jason Bernardino with the $5 super chat says says 2 words, rap music. There you go. There you go. There you go, man. Takers says, so police don't pew pew anymore. When is hunting season starting for decent folks? I mean, uh-oh. Wait a minute. I think the niggadar has picked up a nigga. Hold on, where we at? Where the nigga? There it is. The niggadar has picked up. Congratulations. We have our first nigga. Takers in the chat says, so police don't pew pew anymore? When is hunting season starting? For decent folks, I mean. Yeah, that's real cute, Takers. That's real cute. So Takers would have us believe that cops are out here just shooting people at random. No, Takers. This is a nigga. Like, listen, let's not get it twisted. This kid was a nigga. Nice try, though, Takers. Nice try. Fuck out of here.
Times. Ever since the pandemic, people are losing more screws.
Hold on, what did he say?
All started with him not being able to connect to the Wi-Fi.
We living in tough times. Ever since the pandemic, people are losing more screws.
Oh, nigga, shut the fuck up. This nigga wants to blame it on the wait, hold on. So let me get this straight. It's the pandemic's fault that made this nigga pull a gun on a Chipotle employee because he couldn't get the Wi-Fi password. What the fuck are we doing? Dre Raven with the $2 super chat says, was he a sovereign citizen? LOL. Yeah, that's, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought that. King Life says, HOTEPS don't want to admit the entitlement that's in this community. Fam, I'm trying to tell you. I don't know. Look, and here's the thing, guys. And I'm being honest here. Maybe I need to do a little bit more research on HOTEP. Not HOTEP Jesus, because I've known him for a while. If anybody wants to come on and educate me about HOTEPs and what the community is about, I'd really like for you to come up. The link is in the chat and the description. What exactly is this HOTEP community about? Because I've heard that the word HOTEP means peace and this and that and a third, but sovereign citizens are HOTEPs. Wow. I did not know that. How about that? Let's continue.
I think especially in Atlanta lately, they pull out guns and do some crazy things. That is...
Listen to what this woman just said.
I think especially in Atlanta lately, they pull out guns and do...
Yeah, in Atlanta lately, they pull out guns. She's talking about niggas. She's talking about niggas. Ah, there it is. HOTEP Goldstein says, this nigga sound like a great value Myron. Uh-oh. We got another nigga in the chat. Here we go. HOTEP Goldstein sounds like... Yeah, there we go. That's funny. Okay, listen. Maybe I do sound like the great value Myron, but am I wrong? HOTEP Goldstein? Why are you saying that I sound like the great value Myron? Hey, listen, man, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. But I'd like to know what your stance is on this. I'd like to know what your stance is on this. Number one. Number two, I spoke on this before Myron spoke on this. So maybe Myron sounds like an Ethan Allen, Donovan Sharpe, right? Maybe, right? The Iron Patriot sounds like he was running and he didn't have a gun on him. He threw the gun away, and that's why they probably had their guns out, because he was suspected with a gun. Right, of course. Taker says, no, I didn't mean that police shoot innocents left and right. I didn't convey sarcasm correctly, but it's cool. The response is understandable, seeing the current call and show's theme. Oh, my bad. All right, I'll take that. That's on me. Okay. So Takers is so say, hey, listen. The Nigadar every once in a while gets it wrong. The Nigadar gets it wrong every time. Every once in a while. Hotep says, yes, you are wrong. What exactly am I? Hotep Goldstein, listen. And I mean this as respectfully as possible, not being facetious. You are more than welcome to come up and discuss this with me face to face. Like, if you think I'm wrong, I would be interested to know why you think I'm wrong. Let's have a discussion about it. Okay, your first comment was an ad hominem attack. Typical nigga shit, typical uneducated Negro nigga bullshit. Cool. I'm not going to stoop to that level. I'm not going to sit here and call you names. At least not too many. I'm not going to attack you or your character. I'm going to be the bigger man here, and I'm going to ask you to come up. If you think I'm wrong, I'd like for you to articulate why you think I'm wrong. And here's the thing, Hotep Goldstein. Also, I would like for you to explain to me what exactly the Hotep community is about. Because I'm very, very interested in this. I'm very, very interested in this because evidently I don't really know much about you guys. I really don't. But just based on the comments that I've seen between yesterday and today, it sounds like you guys like to justify nigga behavior. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. But in case I am, I'd like for you to come up and discuss this with me. Please do. Like I'm asking you respectfully. Please come up and educate me. King Lou says Nigadar is hilarious. Yes. Nigadar. There it is. Nigadar. Let's see. Actually, this is a sonar, so it's almost like a periscope. All right. Looking for niggas. Nope. Wait a minute. Dude, niggas don't like the water, so I should probably change that. Alex Costin says, damn, I just got in. Someone is trying to pull up. No, Hotep Goldstein is apparently a coward. He says, yes, you are wrong. If you really do believe that I'm wrong, Hotep Goldstein, I would really, really like for you to pull up and tell me why you think I'm wrong. I really, really would. Let's continue.
Do some crazy things. That is absolutely insane. We're not required to have Wi-Fi.
And in addition to the 6 charges that Garrett faces here in Cobb County, please tell me that he has...
Hotep Goldstein, there is no number, Hotep. There is no number, Hotep, but you can there is no number. It's StreamYard. So listen, Hotep Goldstein, you can join from any device. You can join from your phone, your iPad, your computer, whatever the case may be. Also, the link is pinned in the chat. The link is pinned in the chat.
3 outstanding warrants from another county.
There you go. Guys, I swear to God, stereotypes exist for a reason. In this little 2-minute clip, all of the stereotypes about niggas, coming true. Nigga comes into Chipotle, wants the Wi-Fi password. They don't give it to him, so he pulls a gun. Like a coward, he runs, throws away the gun, gets arrested, assaults one of the police officers, and oh, by the way, surprise.
Please tell me that he has...
Surprise, he has a warrant. Okay, very good. All right, looks like I've got Hotep Goldstein. Oh, I know who you are. You're the guy with the chipped tooth. Yeah, aren't you in Arizona?
That's where I'm at.
All right, hang on. Let me bring you up here quickly. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to refresh this. Hang on. HE. Give me a quick second. Hold on. I want to make sure everybody can see you. Video capture. I do apologize. Oh, there it is. Give me a second. Let me, all right. Give me a second. Restart capture. Got it. Okay, there we are. Okay, Hotep Goldstein. Now, so it's your opinion that I am. So what exactly? So first of all, and I need you just compartmentalize. What exactly is, because I've known Brian Sharpe for a while, and I've never really had a conversation with him in terms of what the Hotep community is about. So if you could be so gracious and just sort of explain to me what the Hoteps are, what you guys do, et cetera, et cetera.
Basically, what it boils down to is Hotep which is not race exclusive, by the way,
Okay.
is somebody who, first and foremost, before anything else, seeks the truth. All right.
Okay.
The absolute truth of a matter.
Okay.
There have been a lot of people who have come down the pipe that consider themselves HOTEPs. A lot of those people were also kind of put in position as the face of a HOTEP to dilute and to also discredit the actual movement of what a HOTEP is.
Okay.
So you'll get a lot of these race baiting motherfuckers who are just, all blacks can't be wrong, all whites are always wrong. You'll get a lot of that.
Okay.
But a lot of that was used, like I said, as a tool to just dilute exactly what a HOTEP is.
Okay.
Again, it's not racially exclusive. So you can have white HOTEPs, you can have Mexican HOTEPs, you can have HOTEPs from all walks of life. These are the people who typically, like I said, before anything else, seek truth in their life, in their affairs with other people, in the affairs of the world, whether it be politically, whether it be spiritually.
Okay.
They're always constantly seeking that truth.
Okay, very good. That makes sense. All right, so you said that I am wrong. What exactly am I wrong about here?
Well, I don't want to mistake your premise here. So lay it out to me exactly as it pertains to this issue with the stabbing of the kid. What is your premise? Because I don't want to mischaracterize it. I don't want to misrepresent it.
Sure. I don't think my premise is. I don't think there's anything complicated about this. I think that Karmelo Anthony's response to his alleged response to what had allegedly happened was not commiserate with what happened. From what I understand, he was sitting, I guess, in the wrong tent or something like that. Austin Metcalf confronted him, said, "Hey, this is our tent. You got to move." He said, "Make me." Austin Metcalf grabbed his bag, moved it, I guess moved it out, whatever the case may be. And he responded by stabbing him in the heart. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not even as far as I'm concerned. It was wrong for Metcalf to be stabbed by Karmelo Anthony. I think that the response was, like I said, not commiserate with what had actually happened.
And I can agree with that. But where I feel that you may go wrong and where a lot of other people are going wrong is racializing this. Because from what it seems to me, this is an isolated incident of violence. To racialize it would be to do it a disservice.
Okay, well, a black kid stabbed a white kid to death. So whether or not, race is involved, whether we like it, want it to be or not. That's just how it is.
Because the two people happen to be from two different races, that doesn't make this an issue that needs to be racialized. Again, it could just be simply painted as what it is really on its face, which is just an isolated incident of two teenagers getting into a confrontation, one going way too far, and now there's a dead kid and a kid whose life is ruined. To insinuate race into this does the overall narrative of what happened here a disservice, because now you start to get down into the weeds of a whole list of other things that upon closer examination may not be exactly where you want to the focus to be, especially as it pertains to race. What people tend to be doing right now is they're throwing around statistical evidence of 13 and 50, all this other shit. Matt Walsh's tweet of black males are excessively violent, or whatever the quote it was he had in his tweet that went viral.
Hold on, they are. The statistics say so. Look, what is it? 85% of our prison population is made up of African American men, yet African Americans, that's men and women, only make up 13 to 14% of the population. So the numbers seem to bear that out.
But see, here's the thing, is that when you throw that statistic out there, the 13 and 50 statistic that everyone likes to throw out there, okay? To say that then makes the problem of race or of violence rather inherently race based, because we all know that even though blacks comprise 13% of the population, 13% of the population is not responsible for 50% of the violent crime. A small percentage of that 13% is. Okay. So now, if we start to enter into the realm of trying to make whether or not violence is racially based, then you have to open up that statistical analysis globally. And if we're going to do that, whites have shown that they have a much larger and more violent history and propensity to violence than any race on the planet.
Yeah, we're not talking about the planet, Mr. Goldstein. I'm talking about America.
But see, that's the thing.
No, we live in America.
You make it a race-based conversation, then you strip away all nationalities and everything, because race is a global phenomenon.
Okay, race is a global phenomenon, but you just said that this was an isolated event in a country. The United States is isolated.
Right. And we need to keep it there.
Right. So, and you just said we need to keep it there, yet you said, listen, I don't know what the statistics are globally. You're probably right. You seem to be more, you're more learned on this than I am. I'm talking about in America. I'm not going to go from micro to macro to win an argument. The bottom line is that young black men, percentage-wise, are far more violent and commit far more violent crimes. And here's the thing, Hotep Goldstein, I fall into that category. I am a 4-time convicted felon of violent crimes with my fists. And listen, that is nobody's fault but my own. I'm not sitting here blaming my mom or my dad, whatever the case may be. I blame that on my lack of emotional control. And that lack of emotional control, to me, is directly tied to the rap culture. If there's a 17-year-old, if there are two 17-year-old boys, one is black, raised in the black community, one is white, raised in the white community, we all know that the black 17-year-old is going to be more susceptible to committing violent crimes. There may be an anomaly here and there, but that's how it is. The statistics don't lie. So while I agree with the fact that, yeah, globally, whites are have more, proclivities to violent behavior, here in America, it's clearly blacks, and our prison system shows it.
See, this is what, but to paint it in that light makes it seem as if, again, the violence is race and race-based. Like the proclivity to violence becomes then race-based, right? We rule out a ton of other factors that may be a bigger contributor, because I don't believe anyone is personally inherently violent based on race.
Sure.
So if we're going to open up that conversation, we can't just leave it at, well, blacks are this. Why are blacks that? Let's get into those conversations.
Okay, so
right?
we agree.
These are the things that
why are blacks
Matt Walsh and other people like
that
leave out.
You're absolutely right. We're talking about why are blacks like this. But guess what? You defeated your own argument when you said, why are blacks like this? And there are a lot of reasons why blacks are like this, but one cannot deny. And here's the thing, Hotep Goldstein. Is it all black people? Absolutely not. Is it most black people? Certainly not. But it's enough of them. Stereotypes exist for a reason, Mr. Goldstein, and this was just another example of that in action.
Again, out of the 13%, how many do you think are a part of this violent crime scourge?
Probably a very small percentage.
Less than 1%. And so then what is a bigger factor that should be focused on? The race or the things that cause the race? Because the race becomes irrelevant. You can plug and play at that point. If the cause is not the race, then bringing up the race, again, pigeonholes the argument into they're racist because they're black. That's why they call it a trope. That's why they call it a trope.
Okay. Did you hear about the, I'm sure you probably heard about the, and I already forgot the girl's name. It was two girls. I think they're in like a 4x100, and one black girl brained another black girl, gave her a concussion, knocked her out. That made national news, and both participants were black. The underlying message was that, once again, a black teenager not having emotional control, buying into this hip hop nigga culture. Not only did she do this in front of everybody, she didn't even take accountability. She said, "Oh, that wasn't me," even though the tape shows it. So again, we have two examples now, 3 examples here within the last, I don't know, week and a half or so. I actually just got done talking about this guy who pulled a gun on somebody in Chipotle because they didn't give him the Wi-Fi password. White people aren't doing this, Mr. Goldstein. They're just not.
They're not at all.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm asking you.
Actually, let me rephrase that. Black people do it more than white people in terms of percentage. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick example, and then I'll let you go. A lot of people like to say, well, white girls do it too, right? We talk about baby mamas and the ghetto in the hood. Here's the thing, Mr. Goldstein. There are more white women on welfare than black women, okay? More white women commit paternity fraud than black women. Absolutely. But the percentage of the black women that commit paternity fraud, the percentage of black women that are on welfare dwarfs the percentage of white women. So statistically, percentage-wise, black women are far more likely to be on welfare than white women, even though there are, in number, more white people.
Okay. I mean, I'm not arguing that. Percentage-wise, yeah. But that still does a disservice to the argument because you're not then focused on why are so many white women, as far as black women go, on welfare. Is it racially based? That tends to be where the argument ends. People will say blacks are far more likely to be violent in America than whites, and then they'll end the conversation there.
Okay.
So then what paints that picture, right? Because you said it yourself. The word I think you used was this nigger culture. Can we honestly say? I did not say
nigger culture. I said nigga culture. There's a big difference.
Whatever. However.
No.
Nigger,
you're not going to.
Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It matters to me, Mr. Goldstein.
My point is this: can we quantify those people as black people? Where does the delineation begin?
I think and I don't know where the delineation ends or begins. The statistics,
because it's a cultural phenomenon. It's not a racial one. So then why lead with the race? Black people are this. Why not just this culture is this?
You're right. You're absolutely right. Why lead with the race? Because it's the black race that has been the most susceptible to this nigga culture. Listen, white people have been influenced by nigga culture, but they're white, they're white people, and they go off and do bad things too. The nigga culture, rap, and Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, this is proven to be a scourge in the black community because by percentage, more black people buy into this nigga culture than do white people. That's why it starts with race, because the very culture that we are talking about is perpetuated and exalted by black people, which is why we start with race.
Well, was it a racial phenomenon when mafia culture was taken over, or was it exclusively just the mafia?
I don't know what the mafia culture has to do with this kid stabbing another kid in the heart.
It's one of those things that repeats itself throughout history amongst different groups. This is not exclusive to blacks. It's called a culture of insensitivity towards human life. It's called a culture of violence. It's called, and this phenomenon, this culture of all these things manifests itself differently in a variety of different ways throughout a variety of different cultures, throughout a variety of different time eras. Right now, we are in this one, okay? So we can say that violent culture may be something that blacks have a propensity to. But what we cannot say, and what we have, I don't know, maybe not formally, but what we have agreed on in this conversation is that these are not blacks. These are blacks who subscribe to a specific culture. So we cannot say, we cannot highlight the propensity to violence by using,
because the culture is perpetuated. The culture is perpetuated by black people. That's what the culture is perpetuated by. That's why we lead it with race. And we all identify with our, I guess in our subconscious, we all identify, I suppose, with people who look like us for the most part. And so you have these young black men, these young black men look up to King Von, young black girls, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. all of that plays out. But the bottom line here, Mr. Goldstein, is that most people in prison who are in prison for violent crimes are black. That statistic right there should let you know that this is not only is it a black problem, it is absolutely a culture problem. It's almost like a sandwich. It is a black problem because blacks perpetuate the culture and blacks then endorse that culture. It's exalted. Have you watched the BET Awards lately?
And blacks are the ones responsible for that?
Yes.
Really?
If you disagree, just tell me you disagree.
I don't agree.
Okay, well then tell me why you disagree.
Those people are all on a payroll.
Keep going. I'm listening.
I mean, they're not the ones who own the parent company of BET. They're not the ones who own the distribution companies. They're not the ones who own record labels. They're not the ones who own a variety of different things that you say perpetuate this culture. They are participants in that. They are very much participants in that.
Okay, so you're telling me...
But the perpetuators of the culture...
So you're telling me that it's white... No, there is no come on. You're telling me that it's white people's fault that black people act like niggas. I'm sorry, I just don't buy that.
No, I'm not. It's the person's fault who subscribes to that culture. But no more than it is white people's fault, which it's not. It is not black people's fault either, just because a black face is attaching itself to this nigga culture.
Let me ask you.
That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Well, too bad. Would you rather live in a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood?
I would rather live in a black neighborhood. But see, you're asking a person who, like yourself, has done a lot of time, over 21 years for one crime. You know what I mean? So I am more comfortable around my own, mainly because, you know, I mean, well, I'm not even going to get into that, but I'm more comfortable around my own than I am with anyone else.
Okay. All right.
And as far as like all the violent culture and all, I know how to deal with that. So it's not a problem to me.
Yeah. See, I'm not, and okay, that's fine that you know how to deal with all that violence. Mr. Goldstein, I would rather live my life not having to worry about crime happening around me. I live in a gated community inside of a gated community. And the reason why is because I don't want to be around niggas. That's why. So if you want to be around niggas, cool with me. That's fine with me. But as far as I'm concerned, I want to be in a neighborhood where I don't have to worry about someone possibly breaking into my house. I live in a neighborhood, Mr. Goldstein.
Didn't you ask me if I rather want to live in a black neighborhood and a white neighborhood?
Yes.
Wasn't that the question?
Yes.
Because I don't want to live around niggas either. But I don't want to live around that of any race. Because they all exist. I live in Arizona. There's a ton of white nigga neighborhoods out here. A ton of them.
Right.
Okay. I don't want to live with those people.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So it's just one of them things where we got a nigga culture, black people. Just like you can't assign pedophile culture to white people, even though they disproportionately are whatever. It's one of them things, bro.
Well,
but I gotta go.
Agree to disagree, man. Let's agree to disagree on this one. And I appreciate you coming up. But a higher percentage of black people are violent. I'm sorry, dude. The statistics bear it out. We just had a nigga who pulled a gun on somebody because he couldn't get the Wi-Fi password. That's a problem. Nigga culture is a problem. And listen, if you'd rather live around your own and be able to deal with the violence, more power to you, my friend. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not trying to be around that. I'll give you the last word.
Nah, you got it, bro.
Okay, appreciate you coming up. Gold Step. I almost called him Gold Step Hoteen. All right, let me jump back in here quickly. Now I've got a couple of other people who want to come on. Let me remove this. All right, we've got Jamie Herring, Edward Cross, and Jay Blaze. Let me bring. Oh wow, I got somebody else coming up. All right, I'm gonna bring up. Let me bring up Jamie Herring. Jamie, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Sharpe?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm fine. I think I spoke to you last time.
I did. I remember. How you doing, man?
I'm fine. I wanted to have a conversation with the Goldstein guy, but I guess he just got off.
Yeah. What were you going to ask him? Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Jamie? Jamie? Oh, shit. Sorry about that. Jamie, we lost you. Jamie, wait, is that him? No, yes. Oh, there he is. Well, hold on. Let me take down the other one. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry about that, Jamie. Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to have a conversation with the Goldstein guy, but he just got off.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Like, black people, black men in particular, they do commit the most crimes in America. It's not even close.
Right.
They commit more crimes than white people. They definitely commit more crimes than Asians. They commit more crimes than Hispanics. And the reason they commit more crimes is because they're violent.
Right.
They're violent because they come from a violent environment. Most black communities in the United States are violent. They mimic a behavior of what they are exposed to. So if you see violence in the schools, you see it in your neighborhood, you see it in your family, the mama getting knocked upside her head with a father. How to have. They're not teaching the schools about your hands to yourself. They're not teaching that. And me as a black man that grew up in a black community, I can tell you firsthand, black men today are their own worst enemy.
That's right.
They commit crimes because they choose to commit crimes. They don't want to take any type of accountability whatsoever.
Right.
And that's why when you have black people who have money, you know where they move? They move to the suburbs with predominantly white people. You know why? Because white communities tend to be safe. Even poor white neighborhoods are more safer. Poor white neighborhoods are more safer than black communities. There's no such thing as a white hood. Even a lower class white neighborhood is safer than a black neighborhood.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I agree with you. Trailer parks we have the shenanigans in trailer parks to be sure, but I'm gonna tell you what, the hood is a lot more violent than the trailer park. Does violence happen in trailer parks? Absolutely, but not nearly at the same rate as they are in the ghetto.
And like I said though, and like you told the gentleman, the prison system around the United States is filled up with black men.
There you go.
I don't feel sorry when I hear stories about black men going to prison. You mentioned King Von. King Von was one of the most wickedest human beings on the face of planet Earth. And his boy, Little Durk, he's doing prison time because he tried to orchestrate a hit on the Rondo guy.
Yep.
And you hear stories about a lot of these black men going to prison. Big U, he's going to prison. Fulio, he's dead. These men are gang members. They're thugs, they're hoodlums. They are a danger on society. I don't know what it is about young black men, but these brothers grow up. They don't want to be doctors. They don't want to be lawyers, attorneys. They don't want to be architects. They don't want to be engineers. They don't want to work in medical field. They want to grow up to be gang members, thugs, and hoodlums.
That's right.
And guess what? Two things going to happen. Either you're going to end up dead or you're going to end up in a prison cell.
There you go.
And then you're going to keep going back to prison because you have a felony on your record. Nobody wants to hire you for a job because they feel like you are a liability. And what you gonna turn to? Sell drugs, continue to poison your own community, engage in violent behavior. And they wonder why no other race of people, it ain't just white people who don't like black men. You got Hispanics who can't stand them. Asians, Chinese, other race of people. Indians cannot stand black people. It ain't because of your skin tone. Like, I'm dark skinned, right? No, it's your behavior. It's your character.
That's right.
You don't have any etiquette. You don't have any ethics about yourself. You're not law-abiding. You're not a model citizen. You're not a productive member of society.
Listen, I totally agree, 100%, Jamie. Thank you very, very much for chiming in. It is good to hear from you as always, man.
I want to say one more thing before I go.
Let's get it.
Black men of good character who are law-abiding and model citizens, we got to address the problems in the black community.
100%.
The biggest problem in the black community today is not white people, it's us.
That's right.
I have to let me tell you about me though, in my life.
Okay.
When I'm in predominantly black neighborhoods, I got to carry a weapon for my safety, my protection, my well-being. I'm going to be honest with you. When I see a group of black men and they look like thugs, hoodlums, want to be gangsters, and they look suspicious,
I'm going the other way, bro.
I walk on the other side of the street,
Hell yeah.
Or I will hold on to my weapon just in case something happens. When I see a group of white people, I don't get scared or afraid.
Nope.
I don't get scared or afraid though, because less than likely, I'm not going to be attacked by a white male.
Absolutely.
Say what you want about white people, they're racist, they're prejudiced, stuff like that. I don't have problems with white people.
Nope.
It's always niggas I have problems with. I'm done.
Absolutely. Jamie, listen, dude, fire as always, Jamie. I would actually like you to consider, if you would, Jamie, I'd actually like to get your information. If you would, send me an email to Donovan. Actually, you should join my Discord. I'd like to exchange phone numbers with you because I'm actually going to be starting a weekly Sunday panel that is going to discuss issues like this, and you seem more than qualified to be on that panel. So jump in my Discord and send me a message.
I'm at work right now. I'm going to give you my information. So
excellent.
My email is jamiestar020@gmail.com. jamiestar020@gmail.com.
Perfect. And that's JAIMESTAR 020.
No. It's it's JAMIESTAR020@gmail.com.
MIE STR020. So that is JAMIE STAR 020@gmail.com.
That is correct.
I got it, Jamie. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna get a hold of you real soon, brother.
Okay, thank you, man. Have a good day.
Very good. You too, buddy. Jamie Starr checking in. All right, let me go to Edward Cross. What's going on, Edward? How you doing, brother?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. How's it going, man?
It's going well. I tried to give you a call. I don't like blowing you up, but
no, it's all good, man.
But I wanted to say thank you for having this discussion. The conversation needs to be had. Yep. I appreciate all the brothers that are contributing because, disagree or agree, the discussion needs to be had so that way we can get over the hurdles and understand what's going on and stop the problem. Right. It's a problem. You can't get rid of the problem if you don't talk about it. I come from a non-denominational Christian household, and everybody knows that most of them Jones or sneezes and s'mores because they just say, no, don't abstain, don't talk about it. That's the problem.
There you go. We have a comment in here, Edward, and it is from, hang on a second. Somebody said, from My High Horse says, this is a coon channel. If by coon it means calling out the degeneracy of the nigga culture, then yeah, I guess this is a coon channel. Why do you think, Edward? Why do you think niggas come in here and call us coons when we're telling the truth? Why do you think that is?
I hate to sound like an arrogant bastard, but it's because we're better than you. That's what it really is. Why don't we go ahead and just call a spade a spade?
Yep.
Is it really that hard to say that I'm not going to harm anybody else like that? It isn't. And then when you make Molten Mage Gaming, he said something, and I didn't like the comment, but how can you disagree with it when that's all you see, especially as a black person? You mean to tell me, and I've went through a lot of violence. I can tell you people don't understand violence. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've had a lot of different things happen to me. I can step out of my house right now and there's a bullet hole in my street sign. You know who probably put it there?
A nigga.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
And then when you go ahead and you say certain stuff like that or whatever, no, it happens more often than not. I was in Philly and I got cut off by a guy twice trying to fight me in the middle of the street. And I probably would have been on the news and stabbed. What was he?
He was a nigga.
I went ahead, came out of Walgreens, and I seen a bigger dude, right? And, he shares my reflection. I said, excuse me. I excused myself. Okay. Excuse me. And you know what, condescending, whatever. We're in the Northeast, whatever. So I turn back and I look at his face and I smile because I think that it's somebody that I know that's just messing with me. Okay. No, it wasn't. So as I leave, I go, yo, you need to go have better manners. And he got mad that I said that. You need to. Man. But if I would have went ahead and punched him in the face over it, I would have been wrong.
You would have been in the wrong. Absolutely. Edward Cross, thanks for chiming in. I got other people that I got to get to, but I'm going to get with you also about this panel. I think I'd like to have you to be a part of it as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. All right, let me go to, I've got Shane, and then I've got Shar Watkins. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. Shane, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Oh, brother, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing real good, man. So what are your thoughts on this particular discussion?
I would like to, first of all, Jamie, man, he was spitting some facts, dude. I like what he said a little bit ago.
He was killing. He was cooking.
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of shift the perspective a little bit, keep it on topic. But I think there's a bigger picture to look at, a problem. And I was wanting to talk with the first guy that you had on. Because, he was saying he wanted to shift things away from the race aspect of it. And in one sense, I get it, but you're 100% right. You can't do that, especially, and this is the perspective I want to shift it to, when you have the media that won't allow for that shift to take place at all. The media wants to, and the example I want to give, I don't know if you remember, a couple years ago, it was in Waukesha, Wisconsin. There was a black guy that drove an SUV through a crowd of white people. It was a Christmas parade. And the media, I think it was CNN, had said SUV or vehicle runs through crowd of people because they didn't want to come out and say, it was a black person.
It was a black person.
And
that's right.
And it's like, obviously, if that would have been a white guy doing that to a black crowd, that would have mainstream
been
news,
all over the news, right?
And so, when part of my problem is when I see people, why make it about race? Well, it's because it kind of feels unfair when you have the media accusing an SUV, just an SUV, as if it was a self-autonomous driving vehicle running into a crowd of people, killing, including children. I think there was like 2 kids that were killed in that massacre.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find the headline. I'm pretty sure it was CNN that said that. But when you have the media labeling shit like that, but then wanting to emphasize white crime, whenever a white crime does happen, it's not fair. It adds kerosene to the already hot fire.
Yeah.
And so those are my thoughts on it. Not much else to say on the topic, but I mean, the media just hasn't helped. If anything, they've exacerbated the problem.
It's crazy.
And, to the majority of, I don't know if it's majority or not, but to a lot of America who don't watch independent shows like you or even Steven Crowder or Temple or whoever it may be, that just watch stuff like CNN or Fox News, they're not going to see they're not going to see anything other than SUV runs through crowd.
There you go.
They're going to get a completely different narrative.
And it's all because the media is scared to death to call out the deplorable behavior of black people who come from the black community.
That's exactly what it is. They put their they lick their finger, put it up in the air, and they go whichever way the wind blows. Is really what they do.
Shane, I appreciate you. Shane, I appreciate you chiming in, my friend.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. That is Shane. Let me bring up Char Watkin. How do you pronounce your name?
It's C-A-R. So my first name's Chris, and then my last name
Chris. My bad, man. Chris. All right. So, Chris. Okay. So, what's going on, man? What's on your mind?
So, when you were in that debate and you asked, I forgot Buddy's name already, but when you asked him, what would you live in, a black neighborhood or a white neighborhood? Yeah. And what's funny is when you look at typical neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, first of all, when I live in a neighborhood, I want to be around people that are intelligent and have something to lose.
Ooh, good point.
Good
point.
I mean, have you ever been in a black neighborhood where majority of the residents were both intelligent and had something to lose? Because
I live in one right now, as a matter of fact, and it took me a long time to get here.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because for my mindset is like, man, I would love to live around majority black people that are both intelligent and have something to lose. But
would be nice.
It's hard to come by. So yeah, as a result, if you're a black man, or if you're a black person with some sense, you're not gonna. What you're gonna start to find, especially as you get older, is you're gonna get along less and less with niggas.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, and it's
crazy.
It's not only crazy, man. It's sad because listen, man, the neighborhood. Look, the neighborhood that I live in, and I don't want to dox myself, but just to give you guys an idea of where I live in an ultra exclusive community. I live in a gated community within a gated community with its own private police force. Okay, we have our own private police force with full police powers. This is all signed off on by the HOA. There are cameras everywhere. And if an unidentified vehicle is seen within any part of the 1.5 square miles of this neighborhood, they are immediately converged on and removed or something happens. I have a 5-digit address number. My address is 5 digits. Word number 1, word number 2, and word number 3, I don't want to dox myself, is either Trace or cove. I don't live on a street. I don't live on a boulevard. I don't live on an avenue. I live on a trace/cove. That's the kind of neighborhood that I live in. And unfortunately, since I moved here, I have seen not one black family here. And listen, maybe there are black people who live in this neighborhood. So far, I am the only one that I have ever seen. And that to me is a shame, man.
It's sad. It really is sad. And as far as the solution goes, like the previous contributor explained, I'll go a little bit further. It's all about accountability. Like, we just do not hold ourselves accountable. And, if somebody like you or I attempts to, then we're shamed and, call out of our name.
Yeah.
We're basically excluded from the community today.
Yep.
Just
based on the way we talk. Like, we're both light-skinned and we don't talk like niggas. So we're already behind the 8 ball, right?
Oh, if you see, it's funny too, because when I approach people, like my appearance, I'm covered in tattoos. I got a neck tattoo.
Right.
But then when I start talking, they're like, oh, I start talking about crypto. I start talking about finances. Hey man, I'm trying to buy Nike stock. I'm not trying to buy the shoes.
Right.
Oh, fuck? Like, what are we doing?
Look, my favorite line is this. I used to do a lot of buying and selling on Craigslist. And sometimes I would talk to the people, all right, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And then they see me, they're like, oh, you don't sound the same on the phone. It's like they're looking for, no, I sound the same on the phone. It's just that, oh, I didn't expect you to be a black man covered in tattoos. But that's how it is. Like, I'm not, and the thing is, Chris, is I don't take offense to that. Because most people who look like me and have the tattoos that I have are, more often than not, they appear to be up to no good. So I understand people's apprehension in terms of seeing, listen, I'm 6'2", I'm 230 some odd, or probably 240 some odd pounds. I look very intimidating. I look imposing. But as soon as you start talking, it's like, oh, okay, the threat level is now down, right?
I can't tell you how many times I get that, man. Although I will say, I'm 5'8", so I got that going for me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You're a short king, so that works for you.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks for chiming in. It appears we got a couple of more callers, but I'll give you the last word before we jump.
Oh man, just hey, if we want to improve, we got to hold ourselves accountable. We got to educate ourselves. Stop blaming the white man. The white man don't really give a damn about us. I mean, most white people are cool and will put you on game.
Sure.
I mean, that's really all I got to say. We just need to fix our mindset, and everything else will follow.
Chris Watkins, man, thank you very much for chiming in, man. I appreciate that. Or Hawkins, sorry. Very good. Chris Hawkins in the house. Let us go to. All right, let's go to Boldy. Boldy, you are on live with Donovan. How you doing, man? What's on your mind?
Hey, Donovan. Hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, buddy.
All right, dude. Big fan. I'm pretty much, I want to approach this from a behavioral standpoint. I don't want to make it a race thing. Oh, sorry, my son.
Uh-oh. Go ahead, man.
Sorry. We have to denounce like certain behaviors in our communities. It's the pretty much single mother raised behavior.
Yes.
Right. So it's our emotions that go unchecked that get us in trouble, and there's no way to defend what happened with these young boys. With the stabbing, nothing can defend a stabbing for a few words said. And the challenge to the HOTEP community is, how can you defend a stabbing when words were said?
Right.
Like, they didn't defend that, so they try to make it a race thing, like a macro thing, the political thing, but there's still a stabbing that happened, and how can you defend that?
Yeah, listen, and what HOTEP Goldstein, he made a lot of valid points. The people who own BET are not white. The rap labels, et cetera, are owned by white people. Okay, that's fine. I don't know what, I mean, listen, and we can do a deep dive on, the white man and blah, 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 blah. But until black people start taking self-accountability and saying, you know what, okay, so BET is owned by white people, and, a lot of these labels are owned by white people. But at the end of the day, We are responsible for our own actions. We're responsible. Parents are responsible for what they let their kids get influenced by. And I think, unfortunately, for a lot of black parents these days, they want their children to be around other black people. They want them to assimilate to black culture and all this other kind of stuff. The problem is that black culture is full of degeneracy, and that's why we get more and more stories like this on a daily basis.
No, but the dangerous thing is that the people that come out and defend that type of behavior, you know, when the Will Smith happened,
yeah,
a lot of people defended that behavior. It's, you know, it's those behaviors that could get young men in trouble. I saw a stream with Kevin Samuels when he was battling this old lady from California, defending that type of behavior. And is that behavior, as like me, raised as from a single mother, like I have a short fuse,
right?
And I get into arguments very quickly, but that's hurt me, like growing up, like in business, you know, like I get angry and then people don't want to do business with me. So, or in the job place, oh, this guy has a short fuse, you know, whatever, we can't have him around.
There you go.
So we got to learn to denounce certain behaviors. Like there's all races have their like scum in the races.
Of course.
Like whites, the Mexicans, the Asians.
Asians, everybody has them.
Come out and denounce those behaviors. And so each ethnicity or race need to come out and denounce the behaviors, not the people, but the behaviors. So
right.
I'm not gonna say the N-word, but like Joe
niggas, I'll say it.
Ninja, right? So like emotional ninja behavior needs to be denounced.
There you go. There you go. Boldy, I appreciate you chiming in, man. Call in anytime.
All right, man. Cool. Thank you.
Listen, Boldy makes a lot of good points, man. And you know, it's interesting. Before I bring on Trey the NBD, is the black culture, like, dude, the black community is the only community that does not denounce deplorable behavior. Like again, we still have people who worship King Von, right? We still have people who worship Tupac, man. And Tupac was he was a great rap artist, but dude, niggas act like this dude is some kind of fucking god, right? We got people who quote, who can quote Tupac and Biggie more accurately than they can quote like a Martin Luther King Jr. It's a shame. It really is. Like, there's no more Whitney Houstons of the world. Okay, it's all Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, my neck, my back, lick my pussy down to my crack. And I think, and this is interesting. I remember when I was coming up, I was in college. I was in college in the late 90s. And I remember Lil' Kim had just hit the scene. And dude, Lil' Kim was just like, dude, like she was brash and she was trashy. I don't want dick tonight. Eat my pussy right? And then, you juxtapose that with Jessica Simpson, who's talking about, I've never felt so beautiful, baby, as I do now that I'm with you. Who do you want to be in a relationship with? Lil' Kim or Jessica Simpson? Right? Like, ain't nobody dude, men, we want femininity. We don't want that brash, masculine shit in our women. We really just don't. All right, let me bring on Trey the NBD. Trey, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Donovan? Big shout out, man. I've been following you for a long time.
Good. Thanks for chiming in, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, no doubt, man. Well, I'm down here in Texas, man, near San Antonio to be specific.
Okay.
But the response to this has been really polarizing and wild. You have from the ninja side down here, man, just complete caping, making up stories about what happened, and just complete defense of, oh man, he was bullied. They attacked him. They talked to him wrong. You know, he felt disrespected. Man, it's out of this world. Like, in all my years, 50 years of running track, coaching track, man, who brings a knife to a track meet?
What are we doing? Like, why? Like, what are we doing? Isn't it amazing, Trey? Now, here's the thing. Let's go back to that whole self-defense thing. The only legit self-defense argument that I can see is if Austin Metcalf pulled a knife out on Karmelo Anthony. If Austin had pulled a knife on Karmelo Anthony, guess what? Karmelo Anthony, right then, he brought a knife to a knife fight, has to defend himself. But again, he's a white kid. Obviously, he's not going to bring a weapon to track, and it ended up costing his life. Yet we still have black people, just like you said, talking about, well, he was bullied by the mob and he was assaulted. No, he wasn't. His backpack was grabbed, and his response was to stab a white kid to death. It's insane.
Yeah, but what I'll tell you, what I've noticed is a huge problem. Just like I said, man, I've been in this 50 years, from VA, from the 757, from the hood, and I've noticed
all right.
It's single moms, man, or either moms married to betas or with stepdads. There's no respect, no discipline coming when you have a society, that whatever, you might want to call the black community now, that's matriarchal. These boys are coming up being raised off of hip hop or just, whatever. Effeminate behavior is now the norm.
Yeah, I think it's really sad. I think it's really sad, Trey. And like I said, I agreed with Hotep Goldstein in terms of the powers that be. A lot of them are white people. They own the rap labels, they own BET, all this other kind of stuff. But again, to me, it's down to the parents. What are you allowing your children to be influenced by? Because here's the thing. Here's what's really scary about this. This guy, Karmelo Anthony, was not a hood nigga. He did not grow up in the hood. This guy lived in Frisco, Texas. He lived in an affluent area, presumably. There are pictures of him on the internet on top of his Jeep, with a bow. Unfortunately, for a lot of black parents, they don't realize that their children's upbringing, their values are being usurped by nigga culture. Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg to a degree. Back in the day, the West Side Connection with Ice Cube, Dub C, and Mac 10. Listen, we're the same. We're around the same age. You remember those boys? I still bump that shit every now and again. But I think what's really happening, and Hotep Goldstein says, look, it is a cultural problem, not a racial problem. No, this is a racial problem because the people who are perpetuating the culture are black.
Yeah, and the problem is this, and I've noticed it, and starting the whole 2020, the whole battle of a Floyd. And man, I call it the Candace Floyd test. You just ask people how they feel about Candace Owens and George Floyd and just gauge their reaction.
There it is.
And I've noticed, my current wife, man, she's a real hot, might as well say she's white and Dominican. She's Dominican, but she's white.
Okay.
And what she's noticed in being married to me is she's noticed people do the sniff test.
Yep.
And they collectively notice you. They hear me talk, and then they're around me, and then they, damn, thank God he's not a nigga. Bro, she's watched them do it. And she's like, holy cow. And like one of the reasons she got me to begin with, she said, I was friends with her brother. She's like, I hate to say it, but you didn't act like the other black guys. It took me a couple years to like figure out what the hell you were. And then in like 2020, when I'm looking at black folks like, man, how the hell are y'all defending a crack addict? And then they were just like, dude, where do you come from? Your upbringing. And I just let it slip that my mom's Jamaican. Oh, he's a tether. He wasn't raised like us. Man, you got dudes from these suburbs like this Karmelo kid with $700,000 telling me, I wasn't raised. Man, I was raised around 99% niggas in Portsmouth, Virginia.
There you go.
I know I got every freaking nigga car, hood car there is. And even I'm looking at them like, the heck is wrong with you people? Man, so I don't even identify as black anymore. When these guys are like, black people, we got to get together. Heck no. I'm like, I'm done. My hands are washed.
I think that there is and I'll let you go on this, man. I've always said that there is a clear, to use Hotep Goldstein's words, there is a clear delineation. There is a clear difference between black men and niggas. Chris Rock said it best. He says, I love black people, but I hate niggas. I'm the same way. I love black men like yourself. I love black men. Dude, even Hotep Goldstein, like he didn't really act like a nigga. He came on and he articulated himself very well. He made arguments and I disagreed with almost everything he said, but I can't consider him to be a nigga. But I can't stand people who endorse nigga culture, man. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. It's refreshing to watch guys like you and Myron's, Myron's on Twitter. His clan meetings, man. I love that.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Very good.
But,
Trey, listen, appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, I'll hit you up in the Discord. Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. Take it easy. That is Trey NBD. We got somebody else who wants to come up, and it is Mordecai Ben David. Mordecai, can you hear me? Mordecai, you got to unmute yourself. There you are. Mordecai, where you at? I can't see Mordecai. Mordecai, where are you? Can't see Mordecai. All right, Mordecai, we're having some technical difficulties, I guess. Okay. Let me read a few more comments here. Oops, sorry about that. Oop, wait a minute. Let me read a few more comments here. Let's see. Says Max says people get mad People get mad at Eve. I don't. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Give me 1 second. Trey. Oh yeah, that was Trey. Shout out to Trey. The NBD says I'll chime in. The response from niggas in Texas has been despicable. Dude, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Oh, I see. So it looks like Mordecai Ben David was trying to, I think he was maybe trying to get my channel taken down because he's got some sort of disturbing image up on the screen. See, so Mordecai Ben David, see, this is funny. This is why we know niggas are dumb. Okay? This is why we know niggas are dumb. Okay? This guy thought that I would just bring him right up and allow him to start talking and show a pornographic image and for my channel to be taken down. Niggas are stupid, guys. Niggas are stupid. He thought I was just going to bring him right up. He even sent me a message. I'd like to chime in next. Hold on, where's it at? He said, yeah, I'd like to chime in next. I'm right here, bro. Boy, he really wanted to get in here. Unfortunately for him, I am way too smart for that. Good try, though, Mordecai. Good try. Let me see here. King Life says it's always a crack baby Negro. Absolutely. Stain392 says, oh no, we screen over here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Baker99 says all the affidavit states is that Austin pushed Mello. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All the affidavit said was that Austin pushed Mello. Okay? And again, I could understand the self-defense argument if Austin pushed him and Karmelo Anthony came back and just beat the shit out of him. I'm good with that. If you put hands on another man, you have a basic human right to physically defend yourself from that physical threat. Okay? But a physical threat, you need to respond in kind, right? If somebody pushes you, you don't take out a knife. You don't take out a knife and stab them. No. If somebody pushes you, you push him back or you beat the crap out of him, right? But Karmelo Anthony allowed his brain to be infiltrated by nigga culture, and unfortunately, it has cost 2 lives. One of them happens to be him. King Life says HOTEP's trying to act like race is separate from the culture. Right. Exactly. No, you cannot separate race and culture. I should have said that while he was on. You can't separate race from culture. Okay? The degenerate black culture is perpetuated and endorsed and celebrated and exalted by black people. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Water says, hey, sup, Donovan? Yo, Donovan, were you on Fresh and Fit lately? I can't find it. Yeah, I was not on Fresh and Fit lately. I was not on Fresh and Fit. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it down there. There was a lot of high winds, so unfortunately I wasn't able to make the flight, but I will be down there hopefully later on this month, here in the month of April. Baker99 says, someone tell me Don's email. Yes, Baker. It is, hold on, I'll give you my email, and if you could send it to me, Baker99, Donovan Sharpe, ROK@gmail.com. There we go. From My High Horse says, race and culture is not the same thing, King Life. Yeah, listen, From My High Horse, you said that this is a coon channel. I'd love for you to stop being a nigga and get out of the chat. Or don't get out of the chat. I would love to hear from you, From My High Horse, because you seem to have a lot to say in the chat, but you don't want to pull up. So I'm going to give you an opportunity, From My High Horse. Okay, pull up if you want to chime in, From My High Horse. If you want to chime in, because look, anybody can be. There's no such thing as somebody being good at debate in the chat. Okay, when you're dealing with the chat, you have time to think, you have time to process, right? But when you're in a discussion with someone, you have to think on your feet, think on your own. That means your thoughts have to be original. Your thoughts have to come for yourself. I don't know where your thoughts are coming from. I'd like for you to prove that your thoughts are coming from yourself instead of niggas. So, From My High Horse, I'm going to give you, tell you what, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to pull up. And if you don't pull up, but I still see you in the chat, I'm going to ban you because I don't give a fuck what you have to type. I care about what you have to say. I care about what you have to say. I don't give a fuck about what you want to type. So I'm going to give you another 20 seconds to come up here and tell me why you think I'm wrong, number one. And number two, why you think race and culture is not the same thing. You said it right here. Race and culture is not the same thing, King Life. Well, then, if you're going to make a statement, I'm going to require you to substantiate your claim. And if you don't have the balls, if you are not man enough to come up here and face me face to face, then I'm sorry. You can't be a part of the chat anymore. You can't be a part of the chat anymore. And now you have 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, well, that's it. So if you have anything to say, from my high horse, from your high horse, you're gonna have to join. You're gonna have to join the video link, my friend, because I don't fuck with cowards. Here we are. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody did pull up, and that is J Blaze. J Blaze, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I
well.
thought I saw you in there earlier, but I wasn't sure if it was you or not because I think your camera was off. What's going on, brother?
No, I had to go somewhere, but
Okay.
I'm free now. No, I think the HOTEPS I think HOTEPS like brilliant, but he comes at kind of at it from a economic and political angle.
Okay.
And I'm more interested in like social dynamics and the cause of things.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
And so I think one of the reasons is as we realize with women, they have an issue with like validation and attention.
Right.
So men, we have a hero complex where we want to become kind of heroes.
Okay.
This is why we have a lot of people playing video games because they can see themselves as a hero in like, because I think a couple of years ago, there used to be an insect game where there was no reason for it, but all the guys that played it would save this colony. There was no benefit whatsoever because it was just in their instincts.
Right.
And if you don't have a culture that instills good heroic values, like what I said yesterday about like Coach Carter, where he's going away from the gang culture, and they treated that as a heroic moment.
Right. Right.
We don't have that anymore.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
No.
No,
And so what these people, what a lot of people, and I'm saying in any community, we're being brought up to worship like emotional people.
Yes.
Like what kind of role models do we have now?
Jesus Christ.
They're very emotional.
Yep.
And just look at the NBA, where we used to have Michael Jordan, who was an incredibly competitive person, had a father, and we had, and the NBA was founded as like a Christian league, but now they have embraced hip hop culture, and there's less like role models that are good. And I think part of that is the black culture, where their parents will say, to get our family out of this, we need to like get into like sports and scholarships and use sports to get in there. But sports has been like kind of like corrupted with the hip hop culture. So now sports should be a place to because it used to be like political like if you want to become a congressman or something, you could put on your resume, I was the captain of like say Harvard lacrosse league or NBA or basketball league, and that would show you led a team to either a championship or something.
Sure, right.
We don't have that anymore because we don't really respect that as much.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, and I like the example that you gave with these movies. We celebrate in these movies. We celebrate when young black men let go of that gangster culture, right? The movie Gridiron Gang, I think we talked about yesterday. Coach Carter, even Remember the Titans to a degree. They let all that gangster shit go, and the races come together and this and that and the third. But just like you said, the black community, this is one of the many reasons why the so-called black community is corrupted, is because they worship and exalt degeneracy. Anyone in the black community that has any sense is looked at as the enemy. Larry Elder is the enemy. Dude, Ben Carson is the enemy. It's just even on the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club, they endorse nigga culture from sea to shining fucking sea, but then they want to ask, well, what do white people do wrong? And again, I think that it is obvious what the problem is. But the main problem behind the problem is that black people, there are certain black people, I guess, in the nigga culture and in the HOTEP community that want to somehow not only excuse this behavior, but explain it away and say, well, okay, this might have been wrong, but this is indirectly the white man's fault. Whether you believe that or not, to me, is indifferent. What are you going to do about it? You can blame the white man all you want to. The white man didn't put a gun to anybody's head and say, do this or that. You got to make the choice. We are all born with an inherent understanding, Jay Blaze, of the difference between right and wrong. There is no way that you will tell me that this kid, Karmelo Anthony, thought it was the right thing to do to pull out a knife and stab this kid in the heart. But that's what he did. I'll give you the last word.
Now, I will say I did kind of agree with the first caller, because there is a 1% element that is affecting policies and media targeting specific demographics.
Okay.
I will agree with that. And just like how the NBA shifted it, in entertainment shifted it, there is a benefit to making men and women against each other, white and black against each other. There is a benefit to that for the elites, because then if we're fighting with each other, then we're not fighting against the policies in the government, and we're not fighting against the massive wealth imbalance that is going on with the top 1%. I totally agree with that.
Okay, Jay Blaze, listen, man, thanks for chiming in, and call in anytime, brother.
I appreciate it.
Jay Blaze, as always, chiming in. Yeah, I like the perspective that he gives. Okay, so shout out to BakerBaker99. I'm gonna give him a Don DeMarco. So BakerBaker99 sent me the article with the affidavit. So what are we doing here? Hold up, there it is. Okay, so let's take a look at this article. This article apparently has the affidavit. Unfortunately, this is freaking riddled with ads. Let's see. It says, touch me and see what happens. New details emerge surrounding Frisco track meet stabbing and arrest affidavit. The suspect told the officer who arrested him that the 17-year-old victim, quote, put his hands on him, and that he admitted that, I did it. Okay. So Austin Metcalf put his hands on Karmelo Anthony. Austin Metcalf was wrong for that. You can't put your hands on another man and not expect some sort of retaliation. But if you put hands on someone, again, that does not give you the right to stab them to death. Let's see what this says.
Friendly reminder that if you want to catch us talking to you about the Grizzlies in a different way,
check out our newsletter. Subscribe for free.
Your favorite podcast, that's us, now has a newsletter.
Every single day we send out a newsletter.
One stop for ultimate team and league coverage.
You're going to have lots of content.
WFAA has obtained new court documents revealing how Austin Metcalf was stabbed to death at a track meet in Frisco. Police say another teenager had fresh blood on his finger when they found him at Kirkendall Stadium.
The affidavit shows that when officers arrived, Karmelo Anthony told them he got into an argument with Metcalf, and when the arresting officer said he had the alleged suspect in custody, Anthony replied, "I'm not alleged, I did it."
But Anthony told officers,
oh my God,
he only acted in self-defense and asked them if Metcalf was okay.
Several witnesses paint.
So he said he acted in self-defense and then asked if Metcalf was okay. Yeah, a little late for that. A little late for that there, Mr. Anthony. And again, you can say that you acted in self-defense, but dude, it is not self-defense to stab someone in the heart and kill them. That's crazy.
A different picture, and Metcalf's father told Matt Howerton he is not buying the excuse.
Here we go.
I had a dream last night, and Austin came to me and said, "I'm okay."
Oh, wow. This guy, I can't.
It gives me peace. doesn't mean I don't hurt.
The last 24 hours, unimaginable for Austin Metcalf's father, his mother, his twin brother.
Right now, I'm really numb, and I really don't feel anything. I just have to function.
Metcalf, just 17 when he arrived at Frisco ISD's district track meet Wednesday. His final breaths taken before 11 a.m., police say, after being stabbed to death by a fellow Frisco ISD student, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, now charged with first-degree murder.
My world's a little shattered.
An argument over where Anthony was sitting while the meet experienced a rain delay sparked a confrontation between the teen and Metcalf. According to arrest paperwork, Anthony sitting underneath Metcalf's team tent. You could see it from the air when we flew over the crime scene.
Look at this. Unbelievable.
Metcalf from Memorial High, Anthony from Centennial. A witness telling police Metcalf told Anthony to move from under the team's tent because he didn't go to their school. The witness telling police Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Touch me and see what happens. Let me rewind that a little bit. Let me rewind that just in case you guys missed that. So not only did he stab him, he threatened him.
Because he didn't go to their school. The witness telling police Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. Investigators writing that Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move and that Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. When officers arrived...
Yeah, I got somebody, I think I've got a couple of people ready to come up. I'm going to get to you guys shortly.
The knife was found, and police say Anthony admitted to what happened, but said this to police. He put his hands on me. I was protecting myself.
Yeah, he put his hands on me. I was protecting myself. I'm sorry, that is invalid, my friend. Touch me and see what happens. He grabbed you, you stabbed him, and you ran. That is not self-defense, people. That is murder.
Even asking another officer if what happened could be considered self-defense.
What do you expect? If you're caught, the best thing you're gonna do is try to lie your way out of it.
Metcalf's father telling me self-defense is not a reasonable excuse.
The truth will come out. There were too many people that were there.
There you go. See, there it is. He said the truth will come out. There are too many people that were there. Right. Right. We got niggas talking about, well, we don't know what happened because we weren't there. No, we weren't there, but there were many, many people that were there and witnessed this. This kid's going to jail.
Saw what happened. My own son told me.
In Frisco, I'm Matt Howerton.
Wow. Okay, so...
3 outstanding warrants from another county. Reporting live in Cobb County, Denise Dillon, Fox 5 News.
Hard to believe it would escalate like that over such a meaningless thing. Denise, thanks.
Hello, Officer Fager, Edgewater Police Service. Nice to talk to you.
All right, sorry about that. All right, so there we go. So let me see if I can bring up this. Let me bring up this. Actually, you know what? Actually, let me get to the people that I have in the studio. Looks like I've got looks like I've got a few. Okay, very good. All right, I've got Metallic. You are on live with Donovan. So what's on your mind, man?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I just wanted to give like a quick, like my quick thoughts.
Okay.
So I've been thinking like we've been hearing like in your hard R, shows that a lot of black people try to do the like where they know the law and try to like get away with the crime. I think that's what we're trying to see here is where this kid is trying to use a self-defense, as in like, yeah, he put his hands on me, then therefore I can take his life. I don't know why he's doing that for some reason, but I think there's like a trend going on where like a lot of these guys want to be like sovereign citizens, and I think that's like a new trend that's happening with like a lot of black people, especially like the younger ones where they see all these videos. Right? And they think that they can just do anything and just really get away with it. Like my friend last time, he wanted to go drink and drive, right? And then he said that because I took an Uber, right? And he said that he thought that I was being better than him instead of putting myself in the dangerous situations to where I can, like lose essentially my life. They take away my car or whatever else, or my license, or who cares, And then he thought that, I was trying to be better than him, and he went off on me. He went crazy, right? So I think like a lot of these black people, they have like this animalistic mindset I'm not sure from the way they were raised or something like that, but it's like they refuse to get out of it actually.
Yeah, they don't like, and we see it on the police videos all the time. How many niggas get locked up when they were given more than one opportunity to either just walk away or admit that they were wrong and everything is fine? Something in them just doesn't want to remove themselves from trouble. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know. I don't know why. I mean, it's just maybe it's something like I want to say it's from how we were raised, but honestly, not really. Because, you know, I've been through all that stuff too. I was raised in the ghetto and everything like that. I just simply choose to not do that because I remember all my responsibilities I have, right? And instead of putting myself into danger, or if I am, you know, especially with the police, I just give them my ID, give them all the information that they need, and then I go on with my life. And it's that easy, right? They cut me a break. I'm smart enough to be like, hey, I'm taking a break. All right? I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
Right. No, I don't understand it. So we got a comment here, Metallic. Rag90 says, unfortunately, I don't think he is going to jail. What do you think about that? Because there are a lot of people who are like, you know what? This kid stabbed another kid to death. They don't think he's going to jail because of the cult, because of the United States wanting to protect people like this. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I'm kind of like in between. Like I want to say like the justice system is gonna take him to jail, but I also want to say they might not be for as long as it should be, right?
Right.
I'm thinking maybe he gets like 9 months in jail or something like that, or he like, you know, maybe a year with the bailout, right? But let's say if the media makes a big deal about it, he might be able to get away, like maybe with some fines and just got free, honestly, or therapy and some community service.
Yeah, dude. It is.
So like,
these
I'm
are
kind of like on the both sides right here.
These are very sad and very, very scary times we're living in, Metallic. Thank you for coming up, man. I appreciate you giving me your thoughts, brother. All right, that is Metallic chiming in. Let's looks like we've got somebody else here. We've got Eric Invocator. Eric, I hope I said that correctly. What's on your mind, man?
I just had a quick comment. When I was 10 years old, my dad was robbed by 3 black dudes. And it kind of traumatized me a little bit, so I grew up holding a grudge. But, you know, I grew up, it went away, but the point is that you pretty much represent yourself.
You pretty much represent yourself, and then what? Oh, okay. I guess Eric dropped off. Sorry about that, Eric. Looks like he dropped off. No problem. Jump back up, Eric. I appreciate that. Let me jump in here and see if I can find this affidavit. There's that goddamn bunny again. Yo, check this. Oh, wait a minute. That's not it. Oh, wait a minute. Look, there's the bunny again. Unbelievable. Let me see if I can find this affidavit. Let me just read through this. Quickly. Yeah, it looks like the video just repeated what this says. Reportedly grabbing his chest and telling police. Oh, okay. Upon telling him this, the witness told police that Anthony opened his bag and reached inside. Touch me and see what happens, Anthony told Metcalf, according to a witness. Metcalf reportedly then touched Anthony, the witness told a responding officer, and Anthony told Metcalf to punch him and see what would happen. Soon afterward, the witness said Metcalf had reportedly grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, at which point the affidavit continues. Anthony reportedly pulled out what the witness recalled as a black knife and stabbed Metcalf once in the chest before running away. Yeah. See that? That was not self-defense, guys. That was not self-defense, okay? Again, all Anthony had to do was leave. That's all he had to do was leave. Nope. He wanted to do damage. He wanted to do harm. He grabbed in his bag, touch me and watch what happens. Punch me and watch what happens. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Carmelo Anthony was looking for a reason to stab Austin Metcalf. He was looking for a reason to stab Austin Metcalf. He gave it to him. He gave him a reason. Unbelievable. Metcalf reportedly started grabbing his chest and telling people to get help, the witness told police. I'll get to you in just a second. Whoever just pulled up says the affidavit shows that another witness interviewed by police told the same story about the altercation occurring inside Memorial High School's tent. In the affidavit, the arresting officer said that when he found 17-year-old Anthony, he reportedly told the officer, quote, "I was protecting myself," before the officer had even questioned him about the incident. See, there you go. Hadn't even questioned him about the incident. "I was protecting myself." As the officer was walking Anthony off the track, the suspect further said that Metcalf, quote, had put his hands on him. So Metcalf has already started his defense. He's already started his defense. He put his hands on me. I wanted to get out of there, blah, 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 blah. He put his hands on me, and that's why I stabbed him. And you know, D. Weese says, keep your hands to yourself. Absolutely. But again, if somebody puts hands on you, that does not give you reason to stab them. Because if you were able to stab him and run, then you were able to get out of there anyway. You were looking to get out of there anyway. The officer noticed fresh blood on Anthony's left middle finger while he was in the back seat of the vehicle, the report detailed. The document states that Anthony also reportedly asked the officer if Metcalf was going to be okay while he was in the back seat of the vehicle. Do you see how he's trying to cover himself? I didn't mean to hurt him because I asked him if he was okay. Dude, the jury's going to tear this guy up, man. Or the prosecution's going to tear this guy up. While being escorted to the squad car, Anthony asked an officer if his actions could be considered self-defense. See that? He already knew that what he did was wrong, and he is already looking for an excuse. Hey, is what I did, stabbing some dude in the heart, could that be self-defense? Incredible. According to the affidavit, the knife Anthony allegedly stabbed Metcalf with was later found in the bleachers at the track. Anthony had reportedly thrown it there following the stabbing. See? Anthony knew that what he did was wrong. This kid knew that what he did was wrong. He knew that he had committed a crime and had already started his defense. Part of which was throwing the murder weapon into the bleachers where presumably nobody could find it. Anthony is being held in Collin County Jail where his bond amount has been set to $1 million. There you go. There you go. Wow. All right, let's see who else has pulled up. Oh, Eric is back. Okay. All right, Eric, sorry about that. Looks like your connection got bad. Okay, please continue.
Yeah, my bad.
That's all right, you're good.
And trying not to call.
It's all good.
I had to pull over. So the point of what I was saying was that I grew up having a grudge against black people.
Okay.
Because I saw them beat up my dad, 3 of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, the point is that you represent yourself and your people in the end.
Yep.
And, yeah, I grew up, and in my business, I dealt with some successful black individuals.
Right.
Who conduct themselves very well. So my mind ended up changing, but still, you know, I'm never going to forget that. And, you know, I hope everybody realizes that you don't just represent yourself, you represent you and your people.
That's right.
So any thoughts on that?
No, listen, I totally agree. And this is another difference between black people and niggas. Black people understand that when we are, dude, this is black people, white people, Asians, everybody. Just like you said, I agree with you. We're representing not only ourselves, but we're representing our people. Niggas don't care that they represent us black people. They don't care. And this is one of the many reasons why they misbehave. They don't care how people, they don't care that, it's funny, they'll say, well, we don't care what people think about us. Yet when people show obvious signs of them being afraid of them moving to the other side of the street, you're racist. No, they're not racist. This is simply pattern recognition. We see people like you committing crimes in these situations. And so I'm going to remove myself from that situation. So yeah, you had a bad experience, you know, with a few niggas who beat up your dad. Listen, man, you're human. That's how it is. I'll give you the last word.
Thanks, man. The Mexican community had that same problem. I was robbed by Mexicans. I'm Mexican, you know, but I was robbed by my own people, so I grew up also hating my own people in a way.
Yeah.
Because we were doing the same dumb shit too, so.
There you go. Well, Eric, I appreciate you chiming in, man. It took a lot of balls to admit that you had a biased, you know, but listen, you live life long enough and eventually, you know, a lot of these myths get dispelled. Thanks for chiming in, brother.
Yeah, no, thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Eric Invocator. Yeah, listen, man, a lot of people have bad experiences. A lot of people have bad experiences with niggas. This is just how it goes. This is just how it goes. And he's right. You don't just represent yourself. You're representing your people, whether you know it, like it, or not. Let's see. Connor Brown says, nigga stabbed his heart and said, is he okay? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You says he's probably afraid to. I don't know what you're talking about there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there it is. So, yeah, this is it. So shout out to Shane for sending me this particular article. Shout out to Shane for sending this particular article. Let me go to it here, and let's listen.
Well, John, this morning, police are working on investigating why this happened. They still have a lot of the downtown historic core closed off this morning as they investigate. We are over by Main Street where the parade route was. We're standing about 3 blocks west of where the red SUV initially hit the first group of people. We can see police markings on the ground, people's belongings still strewn across the street. We're going to show you some video of what happened, but just a warning to our viewers that this can be very disturbing to watch.
Okay, so I'm going to watch it here myself because I don't want to show.
A Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin turned deadly after an SUV plowed into the crowd Sunday afternoon.
There's a car going westbound pushing freight cars on red on escape.
Watch from another angle as the red vehicle speeds down the street, barely missing a child wearing a pink coat.
There were a lot of screams, and we almost thought maybe it was Santa, but it was a red SUV, and it hit a lot of people.
This disturbing video shows the incident from above and the chaos after the car sped into the parade route, mowing down performers and onlookers.
I saw, maybe 3 people right in front of me get hit. I saw people right away run to the people that were hit and start doing CPR. And I saw people on the ground. There's blood. And it was really bad.
Angela O'Boyle tells me she just started watching the parade when she filmed this video from her apartment balcony.
The next thing I heard were screams and turned my head and saw the car come and plow into the band that was just past my balcony at that point. It hit at least 2 people right away, rolled over both of them, and then continued down the road.
In the city's live stream, you can see a marching band playing. The red SUV then barrels down the street. Moments later, the video shows a police officer chasing after the vehicle.
We have multiple casualties. We got about 10 to 15 people down in the street.
According to the city of Waukesha, at least 5 people are dead and over 40 injured.
The vehicle struck more than 20 individuals. Some of the individuals were children, and there were some fatalities as a result of this incident.
At least 28 of those hurt were treated at local area hospitals.
We do not have any specifics on the injuries at this time. All of the patients were transported.
Authorities are investigating the event this morning.
We're no longer looking for a suspect vehicle. We do have a person of interest in custody at the moment. But this is still a very fluid investigation.
The FBI is aware of the incident, and President Joe Biden has been briefed on the situation. Meanwhile, in Waukesha, the community is stunned and shaken by how the celebration turned into a tragedy.
I'm deeply saddened to know that so many in our community went to a parade but ended up dealing with injury and heartache.
Okay, so that's Prince, what's his face? So there you go. And I think what Shane had pointed out is that the driver of that SUV was black, and that the mainstream media purposely left out the fact that the driver was black. Had he been white, and Alec Manassian, and Elliot Rodger, somebody like that, it would have been all over the news. But because the media at large likes to cover up the crimes of niggas, it's not in the national news. And you want to know the interesting thing is, and I don't know this because I don't really watch the news. You guys tell me, is this story, the stabbing at the high school, is this high school stabbing, is this national news? Is this national news? Because as far as I know, look, I know it's on Twitter. right? I know it's on Twitter, but is this national news? I don't think this has made the mainstream news, and I think the reason why it hasn't made the mainstream news. Oh, it doesn't matter. The reason why the mainstream news wants to keep this out of the mainstream is because the perpetrator was black. Are they talking about this? Are they talking about this on CNN? Are they talking about this on Fox News? Yeah, I'm sure that there are probably articles on their websites and whatnot. But okay, there. So Jay Blaze says CNN's not covering it. Red Pill Crib says I don't think so. Yep. Taker says CNN, MSNBC, and others. Yep, it's definitely not national. There you go. Wow, we've got some really, really, really good statistics here on Rumble. Boy, Don Dees LaCurve says 1 in 2 black male Americans, wow, will commit murder. Statistics: how many black Americans will spend eternity in hell due to the self-indulgent gangster lifestyle? That is, I don't know. That seems a little high to me. 1 in 22 is a lot. 1 in 22 is a lot. King Life says, I heard about the stabbing from you, Donovan. Right. Midwest Shit says, Don, it's mainstream. Yes, I don't know. He says it's on all the way here in Illinois. Okay. All right. Baker99 says the dad was on Laura Ingram's show last night, but not much national coverage. Yeah. I don't think this is being covered nationally, guys, and I think I know the reason why. Incredible. All right, guys. Listen, this was a fantastic episode of the Hard R. So I'm going to take probably about an hour and a half lunch break. I'm going to be right back here at 2:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's in roughly an hour and 20 minutes. And we'll do TSR Live. We'll do TSR Live. You guys, normally I do TSR Live in the morning, then I do the Hard R in the afternoon, but today we have reversed it. I'm going to be reacting. I'm going to be reacting to the latest episode 49 of Pop the Balloon or Find Love. Also, we're going to react to a loyalty test. We're going to be reacting to a loyalty test. So, thank you guys all very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in roughly an hour and a half. Take care.